Welcome back to Minor League Fishing, everybody. I think I encountered the worst conditions of fishing that I have experienced all year.
I'm cold, I'm wet, and the shit's hit me in the fucking face. I just kicked a puddle out of my jacket. There's standing water in the bottom of the boat.
I've kind of tried to avoid the bad weather, tried to go on nicer days, but this was just the worst case scenario for me. Cold, windy, wet. Oh, I hate that. And it's not even that it rained. It's that drizzle, sprinkle mix back and forth. So, like, I didn't have time to throw on my waterproof frog togs. So I ended up getting soaked. My feet were soaked.
Are your feet wet? I'll give mine 10 more minutes. It'll be like I dunked it in the fucking lake.
My wrists, cuffs, the whole sleeve here soaked on the inside of my jacket. My jacket got soaked. My neck, collar, all that got soaked with water. My hat got soaked with water. It covered up the camera lens half the time. I had to take the stationary camera down because the rain was blowing in sideways. I didn't want to ruin that. And, ugh, terrible. But still caught some fish. I ended up losing my favorite bait.
Help me out here. Fuck.
Oh, terrible. Just a terrible day of fishing. But I do have some good news. The Big Bass Boat Leader, he continues to live on, baby. Big Bass Boat Leader. I think I made a subconscious pact with myself this weekend. I'm going to start throwing a jig slash grub type of bait, maybe forever.
I need some kind of worm. There we go. If you're fishing a jig, I may as well fish something slow like that.
Instead, because I always like to fish these moving baits, I like to cover water. But the thing with the whole jig worm setup is that it's almost always going to get eaten by the fish that I'm looking to catch. I like to catch the big fish. I don't really care to catch the smaller fish. So I think that's what I'm going to do pretty much from now on. I'm going to pick that up 75% of the time, and I'm going to throw one of those. Because you just can't go wrong with that. I already like to fish really thorough anyways. So, why not? So starting out, we end up going right back to where we were the previous night, where we caught over 100 fish on this same point, and we only caught one fish there. We pick up, woo, go to the next spot. Well, that's when the rain started. And the rain got on my pants, which are water resistant, but it just started seeping through, and that's when I started to get wet, and that's when my fun meter went foo, and I started not having fun.
So much for the hour of no rain we were supposed to have.
And that's just fishing. That's the way it is, but boy, it wasn't enjoyable. So now by this time, like, the rain's starting to come down harder, and so I decided to shut down one of the cameras and put it up away safe.
Yeah, I'm turning this shit off. I don't want to ruin it.
See, the problem here is this is my camera mount that is basically attached to the front seat, and it looks backwards. And it's an external battery pack. It's 10,000 milliamps. So far, this thing hasn't gone below half. So it lasts for a really, really long time. But it's not waterproof. This can be waterproof technically, but I would have to seal this hole up. And I'd have to buy like a different attachment for this hole here so the cord can go through it. And I just don't want to do that. So this whole system isn't waterproof, and that can be a problem. Of course, this is the first time I've actually fished in the rain. And it's probably going to be pretty much the only time. It's highly unlikely it happens again. So we fish around, now at this point, I've lost my favorite lure. So now I'm just going to stick with my grub. I'm going to stick with a jig, some kind of green pumpkin type looking thing, little hairball looking. I don't know why fish will love that. It does not look like a crawdad, but they love it, so, I won't argue.
This classifies as rain for you, right? Love having no drag on everything. Always fun. Oh, he fucking came off. Guess I didn't get a good hook set with the no drag bullshit.
Didn't have the drag set correctly on the first fish I catch, and he ends up coming off, but I got to see him, so that's pretty much all I care about. And then the fact that it told me that he was there and he wanted to eat mine over the guy in the front, because we're both throwing pretty much the same thing but different colors. And that does make a pretty big difference when it comes to bass fishing, especially in this lake that gets hit pretty hard. The fish are very particular. So as we're fishing, now we're just kind of going slow. The rain kind of subsided for a brief period, so I ended up throwing the other camera back up front. And we're fishing somewhere that we've always done really well. I miss one, he catches one, and then we go farther back, and then he ends up catching a really nice one. A 454, I believe it was.
Nope. There, he's hooked up. That's a big old bass. Is that gonna break the record? Mm-hmm. That's a good one. What is it?
454.
He remains in the lead. Without even catching anything, he remains in the lead.
Can't beat my 487, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Big bass boat leader, baby. All day. All day. So now that it's later, we go back to the first spot where we started, thinking maybe we could catch something that's pulled up there now. But like I said, the weather's completely changed, and those fish definitely fed up yesterday there. And we only end up catching like one fish, which is weird. That's exactly what we caught the first time we were there. This morning, it was one fish. Not even a bass, it was a sand bass. But then, I go to try and start the motor.
Uh-oh. That ain't good.
She don't start. A cell dropped out of the battery. Luckily, we weren't, but like half a mile from the boat ramp. So we just trolling motored back and we fished our way back. I mean, I'm frozen. I'm ready to get out of the lake, but it is what it is. Nothing you can do about it.
Off this corner of the flat. No, it's a sand bass. It's a big sand bass. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, seagull. I almost smeared the seagull right there. Didn't even see him.
I can't honestly say I've ever had to load the boat using the trolling motor before. Well, it's what I did. We ended up taking a battery out of the pontoon boat, which is around the same age of this battery. I think it's actually like 4 or 5 months older. We threw it in there and started, no problem. So it was a cell in the battery, maybe even more than one cell, because when we were testing the battery, volt test, it was drawing, it was like 11.9 on the battery, and when you'd hit the key to start, it would drop to like 3.9 volts. So obviously something is wrong there, and it couldn't deliver any kind of power to get the motor turning. Oh well, such is life. I'm looking at the calendar here next to me, and it looks like I've got a tournament in 2 weeks, and I'm 99.9999991% sure we're going to fish that one, because that's one of our favorite tournaments, and I'm pretty confident we're fishing that one. So that means next weekend will be pre-fish, Saturday, Sunday. Weather's going to be great. Weather's looking like 80 degrees, roughly, 75, 80, and sunny. Can't wait. Especially after this experience, because this experience really sucked. We'll see if we can get into some really good fishing next weekend before the tournament the following weekend. I'm looking forward to it. It's tournament season. We've missed a few, but they're really pretty much from now on through like June. I'm looking at the calendar. They stop kind of in the middle of June. So this next couple months should be tournament after tournament after tournament, and I'm hoping not only can I make some really cool, unique episodes out of them, but I'm hoping we can get up there in the top. I can bring you guys through with all that, and you can hopefully enjoy the videos. But with all that being said, this is ending episode 2, worst fishing conditions imaginable. I guess it could have been snowing with lightning and tornadoes. So I mean, maybe not the worst, but this is like my personal worst. I hate this kind of weather to fish in. All right, everybody, this is going to wrap up episode 2. Thank you for watching, making it all the way to the end. And until the next one, be safe out on the water, and we'll see you next time. Peace!